Hello world, it's James. Today is the day I will be going down to London and I will be catching my flight to Istanbul tomorrow morning, and this will probably be my last video in the UK before the procedure. So if we just recap on what it is that I'm looking to do, I'm going to Istanbul to get a hair transplant with Elit Hair Transplant at the VM Medical Park Hospital with the specialist Dr. Balwi. The procedure that I'll be undertaking is an FUE transplant, that's a follicular unit extraction. I'm going to need around 2,800 to 3,200 grafts, but they're going to confirm that with my first consultation that I have when I get to Turkey. So today I just really wanted to recap briefly on everything that has happened in terms of interactions between me and Elit Hair Transplant so far. In terms of the documentation that Elit Hair Transplant sent me, the first one was the breakdown of the costs. Just to sum this up briefly for you, transplant around €1,650, a PRP treatment, platelet-rich plasma, that's €150, and my accommodation and transfer, which is 2 nights, single bedroom in a 4-star hotel, and that's the Nidya Hotel. I'm also having VIP shuttle transfer service and breakfast included, and a follow-up with Dr. Balwi. Once I confirmed I was happy to go ahead with the procedure, they asked for a €400 deposit. They sent through an invoice for the €400 deposit. I paid the €400 deposit. They gave me a confirmation which was a further breakdown of the costs. It's nothing that we didn't already review. It confirms that will be in VM Medical Park, and it confirms that it will be with Dr. Balwi and his team. It confirms that I'm going to have some blood analysis when I get there. The treatment's going to be in the morning or at noon, and it says that there'll be English-speaking colleagues there to assist. The treatment's going to take about 7 hours, and it also tells me to refer to a checklist that they sent through on WhatsApp. So I'm going to go through the checklist today so that you understand things that you might need to do prior to getting a hair transplant. And they sent this checklist through to me via WhatsApp on my phone. Number 1, you need to stop consuming alcohol and smoking 1 week prior to your operation. That's okay for me because the only time I smoke is when I drink. So if I'm not drinking, I won't be smoking. Easy peasy, no problem. If you're quite a heavy smoker, you might want to consider using nicotine patches maybe. Number 2, you can't take aspirin for 1 week before the operation begins. I'm guessing this is probably because they're going to pump you full of their own drugs and you'll probably need to take those after your operation. So it's wiser not to mix those medicines. But again, I'm just speculating here. Numero 3. If you have chronic diseases like the risk of a heart attack, blood pressure problems, diabetes or stomach problems and take medication for it, inform us and the doctor. Again, kind of makes sense. If you're on any kind of other medications, they'll need to know. Also, if you have any existing conditions, it would be wise for them to understand what they are prior to you going through surgery. They don't want to be liable for any accidents that might happen if you don't let them know. Number 4, please inform the staff in the clinic if you are taking medication periodically. As it stands at the moment, I only really mildly suffer from hay fever, so I don't actually take any medication for anything else other than for hair loss. Which kind of brings us on to number 5. Number 5. Stop taking any medication, shampoo and lotion against hair loss for 1 week before the operation begins. Kind of seems counterintuitive because you're going there to get hair, so any medication that's going to promote hair growth or prevent further hair loss must be good. But apparently not in this case. I did let them know that I was on Propecia, or finasteride, whichever you want to call it. And I just asked them to confirm, was that the case for this medication as well? Yes, it is. You will need to stop taking finasteride 1 week prior to your operation, which I have been doing. Number 6. Please wash your hair well before you come for the surgery. Kind of makes sense. Nobody wants to be rooting through somebody's greasy, filthy hair, especially when they're going to be giving you a consultation and somebody's going to have to be up in there, you know? And they don't really want your filth on their fingers. Simple. Number 7. They recommend that you wear comfortable clothes during the procedure. The reason being is that when you get out of the surgery, it's going to be incredibly difficult for you to take a t-shirt off without getting it on the front. So make life easier for you and less painful by wearing either a zip-up hoodie, a cardigan or a button-up shirt, and this will help you undress a little bit easier after your procedure. Additionally, you're going to be lying there for 7 hours, so you need to make sure that you're in comfortable clothing. Number 8. Please don't cut your hair prior to the procedure and consultation. They will do it for you. This kind of makes sense because they would probably like to see how your hair currently grows. If you go there with a shaved head, they can't exactly see the problem areas. They'll be able to see how your hair grows as well. That's going to be important when they transplant the follicles into the front or wherever you're having your transplant, because that way they can align them with the rest of your hair to make sure that it looks as natural as possible. Number 9. They advise that you take a shower before you come to Istanbul because you're not going to be able to wash your hair for 2 days after the procedure. I can pretty much guarantee that I'm probably going to be taking a shower in the morning as well as before I come to Turkey. But I guess they don't want you turning up there stinking. I think what they mean here though is that you're not going to have the luxury of a full shower after your procedure. So make the most of it prior to going for your surgery, and then maybe you'll be able to get away with a body shower afterwards, but there won't be any involvement with your head, I can guarantee. Number 10. They recommend that you relax well prior to going in for the surgery and get a good night's sleep. This makes a lot of sense. Nobody wants to go in tired, especially the body's receptors might be more prone to stress as well. Rest, be relaxed, go in there, and hopefully everything will go smoothly for you. Number 11. They recommend that you eat well before coming to the clinic. Again, this kind of makes sense because you're going to spend 7 hours on an operating table. You want to be full. Your body's going to go through a lot of stress. You need to have the nutrients and the energy in you to be able to replenish yourself. It's going to be a long day. You might not get the opportunity to eat, so you might as well have yourself a good fill before you go. I definitely will. And number 12. Probably going to be the hardest one for me. Please avoid drinking coffee 24 hours before and after the operation. I live on coffee. I've probably got more coffee in me than blood. Coffee or hair? Coffee or hair? Hair. I'll choose hair. I'll do it. It'll be fine. So those were the 12 points from the checklist that Elit Hair Transplant sent me. I hope you found them useful, and maybe you'll be able to incorporate them into your procedure if you haven't received similar documentation. If you're thinking of getting a hair transplant with Elit Hair Transplant, there you go. I've just given you some advice well ahead of time before you've even managed to contact them. Winning. So I'm all packed, I'm ready to go. I'm just gonna wait for my flight tomorrow morning and I'm gonna get to Heathrow. I guess the final thing to do now is really just to give you a good look at my hair one last time before it goes. So let's get all close and personal. Okay. Up close and personal. So, one last look at my hair before I lose it all on Monday morning. So as you can see, the finasteride didn't do a bad job of filling in the gaps. Certainly still thin, and I'm definitely receding at the temples. My barber generally tends to cut the front shorter and the back longer, so I don't end up with like the misfits point down the front, and I think that kind of adds to the cover up when I pull up my hair forwards. Yeah, so that's my hair, or that was my hair. So thank you all so much for watching. If you like the content that I'm putting out, then feel free to comment, drop me a message and let me know. It really encourages me to carry on making this content. Like and subscribe if you want to follow my journey, and I'll really appreciate that too. So that's it from me for now. I'll see you on the other side of the world. Peace out.